Somebody invented a gasoline cigarette, sold it as a health product. People smoked it, their jaws fell off, and their lungs exploded. That is number 5 on this list. It gets worse. 5 well-intentioned inventions that became nightmare fuel, ranked by how badly they backfired. From oops to we permanently altered the course of human history. In 1920, a well-meaning doctor named Dr. Charles B. Towns looked at the rising rates of tuberculosis and thought, what if we could disinfect people's lungs from the inside? His solution? The leaded gasoline cigarette. Yes, that was a real thing. Dr. Towns' logic was creative. Gasoline fumes kill bacteria, that's a fact. So why not put gasoline in a cigarette and have people smoke it straight into their lungs? The fact that gasoline also kills people didn't seem to register. He manufactured and sold thousands of these health cigarettes before anyone noticed that patients were developing symptoms that looked exactly like lead poisoning. Because that's what it was. The cigarettes were discontinued in 1923, but not before enough damage was done that we'll never know exactly how many people's lungs Dr. Towns disinfected straight into the grave. The irony? TB rates were already falling because of better sanitation, not gasoline. Dr. Towns solved a problem that didn't exist, using a solution that made everything work. Consequence score 5 out of 10. At least he stopped before it got really bad. In 1957, Ford Motor Company unveiled the Nucleon, a concept car powered by a miniature nuclear reactor. The idea was simple. One uranium pellet would power the car for 5,000 miles. No refueling, no emissions. The future of transportation. There was just one tiny problem. The Nucleon's reactor design was based on the assumption that crash safety standards would be developed later. Ford's engineers apparently never asked the question, what happens when someone rear-ends a nuclear reactor at highway speeds? The answer, for the record, is a very bad day for everyone in a 3-mile radius. The Nucleon was never built. It remained a concept, but the fact that a team of grown adults with engineering degrees looked at a car with an unprotected nuclear reactor and said, this seems viable, tells you everything you need to know about 1950s optimism. Consequence score, 6 out of 10. It didn't actually happen, but the fact that they tried tells us the human race was one bad Tuesday away from the first mobile nuclear disaster. By the 1960s, science had figured out that exercise burns calories. Excellent. Good start. Then someone asked, what if we could exercise for you? Enter the Slendo Shake 3000, a motorized belt that you strapped around your waist while it vibrated violently, supposedly melting fat through passive oscillation. No, that's not a real scientific term. Yes, they charged $200 for it in 1960s money. Thousands of people bought these machines and strapped them on daily, convinced the shaking would give them a flat stomach. After several months, the only thing that got thinner was their bank account. But here's where it gets dark. The vibrations didn't burn fat, but they did cause microscopic internal bleeding in several users. At least 6 people were hospitalized with kidney damage from shaking so hard their organs bruised against their rib cages. The company blamed user error and kept selling them until 1974. Slendo Shake 3000 is now on display at the Museum of Questionable Medical Devices in Minneapolis, still vibrating gently, as if waiting for its next victim. Consequence score, 7 out of 10. Only a few hundred hospitalizations. But 6 kidneys is 6 too many. In 1925, a company called Radium Remedies released a product called Radithor, a bottled health tonic infused with genuine laboratory-grade radium. The marketing was brilliant. They called it Liquid Sunshine. Ads showed healthy, glowing children and energetic athletes. Doctors endorsed it. It was sold in pharmacies nationwide. The science was that radium is radioactive. But at the time, radiation was considered healthy. Radium spas were popular. People wore radium-infused jewelry. It was in chocolate bars, toothpaste, and, most famously, the Radithor health drink. The pitch was simple. Radium energizes the body from the inside out. And it did, in the sense that radiation poisoning causes a fever, which technically raises your energy levels right before your teeth fall out and your jaw disintegrates. The most famous victim was Eben Byers, a wealthy industrialist who drank 3 bottles of Radithor a day. By 1930, his skull was literally falling apart. He lost most of his jaw. He weighed 92 pounds when he died. Doctors who examined his body said his bones were so radioactive, you could photograph them in the dark without X-ray film. Radithor stayed on shelves until 1932. Consequence score, 9 out of 10. They killed dozens, slowly and badly, and the only reason it's not a 10 is that it eventually got banned. Eventually. The grand prize for well-intentioned invention that became nightmare fuel goes to a man who actually won a Nobel Prize for his work, Paul Hermann Mueller. He discovered DDT in 1939. Now, on paper, DDT was a miracle. It killed mosquitoes, lice, and crop pests with unprecedented efficiency. It won Mueller a Nobel Prize in 1948. It was sprayed across the world. On crops, in homes, on children playing in parks. Malaria rates plummeted. Crop yields skyrocketed. It seemed like the single greatest invention in agricultural history. Here's what nobody knew in 1939. DDT doesn't break down. It stays in the environment forever, working its way up the food chain. A single mosquito gets sprayed. A bird eats 50 mosquitoes. A hawk eats 100 birds. And in the hawk's body, the DDT concentration is now 1,000,000 times higher than in the original spray. By the 1960s, eagles and falcons were laying eggs so thin-shelled that they cracked under the mother's weight. Entire species were on the verge of extinction because of a chemical that was supposed to save lives. Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring in 1962. DDT was banned in the US in 1972. But here's the haunting part. There is still DDT in the Antarctic ice. There is still DDT in human breast milk, decades after the ban. It never goes away. Paul Mueller died in 1965, long before the full scope of his invention's damage was understood. He probably went to his grave believing he had made the world a better place. He had. Just not the way he thought. Consequence score? 10 out of 10. A Nobel Prize for an invention that nearly collapsed the global ecosystem. That is a well-intentioned mistake, so massive, it changed the planet forever. And the planet is still paying for it. So the next time someone tells you they have a brilliant idea that's going to change the world, maybe let them sit on it for a few decades first. History has a way of turning genius into tragedy, and the road to hell is paved with Nobel Prizes and great intentions. If you enjoyed this descent into mankind's greatest backfires, smash that like button, the skeleton insists, and subscribe for more of history's worst decisions, animated. Next week, the man who tried to sell the ocean and almost succeeded.